Hello and welcome. My name is Janae Sansaray. I came into this realm for a bit with some gifts. I am an Akashic Records librarian, able to read energy in the quantum space of all that is. I believe I chose to be here to assist and participate in the greatest higher dimensional shift we are all going through in the history of planet Earth. It's so exciting. If you want to learn more about me, I have put my website link in the description below. All right, let's get to it and enjoy this video. Hello, how's everybody doing out there? Welcome to our channel. I have my dear friend Caitlin and myself. We are menopausal women and trying to navigate the apocalyptic energies that are going on. Caitlin, why don't you tell us about yourself and the gifts that you have to offer and all that juicy stuff?
Hey, Jamae, thanks for having me. It's been a while. So, if you've been waiting for this episode, we're finally getting back to it.
I know this is part two.
Um, I'm a midlife mermaid, a shamanic healer, astrologer. I do many things, and I'm actually just created some offerings on my website, caitlinrossodom.com/offerings, and you can see some of the things I'm going to be doing with people. So the different packages, and I'm going to be working with people on the elements and working with the biogeometry tools, all to help with raising your vibration through the understanding of self and the alchemy that's available to me to transform disturbances in the body, in the home. So that's what I
Yep,
do. Just a few
really
things.
good. Yeah.
I'm a jeweler too.
And you're an amazing jeweler. Yep, I'm gonna show my ring again. Look at that
The amulets.
amulet.
Yes. So I make
Yeah.
power pieces using people's astrology
Mhm.
and any kind of things they're working with and needing protection with. And I create a power piece for you using sacred symbol, like the
Yeah.
trine as a sacred symbol,
I can't wait to
very
put my
protective,
L
very stable.
in
Yeah.
my the L that you're gonna make me is the protect the energy field, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the energetic shapes
Mhm.
that work to protect your system, your energy system.
And they work.
Yeah.
Even just
They
doing
do work.
when
It's
you write
alchemy.
the
It's the
scripture.
alchemy of sacred geometry.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm really good with understanding the energies
Mhm.
of the line and
Yeah.
what makes, the Vesica Pisces a super high vibrational transformational shape.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
yeah.
So, because you've done work on
Yeah.
me tonight, yes. So, yeah, so go check her website out, and I'll put everything, of course, in the description below. And then my name is Jamae. I am an intuitive energy reader myself, so I go in and read the Akashic records and pretty much all energy on everything, land, inanimate objects. I feel like everything does have a message and somehow I was born to be able to read all that. So, and I'll put my information in the description below as well. And today we are going to talk about the magic in this realm, right? The dark magic, and then there's light magic, and how do we discern with that? How do we work with that? The alchemy of um of working with that, right? So I'm excited because this
Yeah.
is
And how that relates to midlife.
right.
So,
Yes, the
the
menopause, the
time of
midlife.
life we're in.
Yeah, well, and all the work that maybe a lot of you have already done out there, just all the inner work, and then yeah, this midlife stage, applying all of that, um, all the
Yeah.
inner work to, and then to help others. Like, what are our stories? What have we learned, and what we can offer information to you guys out there.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk because we had part one, what, about a month ago, and it
Hmm.
abruptly ended because some interference happened, and I think we said that it was the asshole dark, um, And, so here's part 2. So we're, gonna, yeah, dive into magic, which I love that when we see that when we're focused on the positive light magic. So where do you wanna start on that?
Well, we could start with the energies that we've been in. We were
Mm,
briefly talking about that. That we've been in a time, first of all, there's always this messing with our time,
mm,
kind of that comes from the asshole dark,
right.
where it's like, oh, like we just had daylight savings or whatever. I don't even know if it went forward or back. I'm just confused about the whole thing always.
Seriously, always.
But
Yeah,
so like we had the, January, New Year's is like the beginning of the year, but it's not really the beginning of the year. The
right.
beginning of the year is starting on the 19th,
Yeah.
which is the spring equinox. So if you follow astrology, you'll get into the rhythm of actually moving with the natural cycles
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
this realm versus the what's the been imposed on
Mhm.
us, because it's unnatural to start new things in January 1st. So if your
Yeah.
resolutions didn't work out, things like that, it's totally unnatural. I mean, and literally the last couple weeks have been kind of the darkest time
It
in
was.
terms of the
Yeah.
energies. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I could feel it. Could feel it out in the
Mhm.
collective,
Yeah.
people's energies and
We could just yeah,
struggling with,
yeah.
yeah,
'Cause I went through, yeah,
struggling with
being under the weather,
yeah,
and I was like, "Holy shit," and just t tapping into the collective and that the dark everywhere, like, really, the asshole dark was having a field day with everybody, and it just felt
yeah,
so and I had never really been in tune with all of this because 'cause I'm not a big astrology, but I kept hearing like, "Oh, January 1st really isn't the beginning," but this is the first year that I've actually energetically felt like, "Oh, this isn't yeah, it wasn't natural," like, because I was all excited, "Ooh, "Oh, we've been doing New Year's on January 1st," and I was like, "Ah, this is gonna be the best year ever," and then it's just been kind of really difficult since but there's been a turnaround just in, like, a couple days ago even, like, 3 or 4 days ago, I
yeah,
felt this, like, shift, so it must be, like, into the spring, so there was some
yeah,
kind of shift in that kind of darker energy, uh,
mhm,
just kind of, like, disintegrated almost, it feels like, and so
yeah,
the light is coming in, so all the light workers, I can feel them, really doing the work, so yeah, it's really fun to see this. And then to know, because then it's because 'cause I'll feel into things, but then you have the amazing information of, like, with the astrology, like, yeah, no, our new year actually is
yeah,
starting on March 19th, um, because of the
yeah. And astrology, I mean, astrology is great to follow, but also not get too caught up in predictions and of the energy too.
Mhm.
It's like I use it more to reflect when I'm having a really bad day. I'll like look at and be like, oh, well, that's happening. So I go, oh, okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
But in general, there's a way that in this reality, the controllers use astrology to mess with us. So that was the darkest time.
Yeah.
And they take advantage of that and just inundate us with really, negative information is just like pounding, pounding. And then there's all kinds of other stuff, election stuff, and all
Oh,
this yucky stuff that's
yeah,
happening,
yeah,
where it's just like trying to manipulate our energy field. So there is a way that they use it too. Like
right.
okay, so I'm using an example 9/11
Mhm.
or the 9/11, what does that guy call it? The hobo code. He calls it the 7-Eleven job application.
Oh my gosh.
9/11.
Who's
I know,
this?
it's so good.
That's
This
fa
is the quantum of consciousness. This guy, he has this best hobo code ever. Great discussions on reality too.
that's awesome.
But he talks about how okay, so he just has great words. But I was talking about how 9/11, the planets were in a certain alignment
Mhm.
that
Oh,
really determined a loss of freedom.
okay.
So
Interesting.
interesting day to choose. Also, when we went into lockdowns
Mm.
for the C to the V,
Mhm.
um, it also was that same alignment, which
Oh,
it's difficult to get the planets to all align in the same way, and they weren't all aligned, but it was giving that similar energy of loss of freedom.
oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
there's this way that it's used to take advantage of
Mhm.
the energies
Yeah,
already that are there. So we just had a lot of storms. It was, that we didn't see the sun for a long time out here in California. We were hit with a lot of rain.
yeah.
And then the weather drama,
Mm,
they are really dramatizing the weather. And
mm,
that also seeds the field because we have this whole energy field. And so they're like, a storm
yeah,
is coming. It's going to be a blizzard. And I was actually traveling around California during that time. And it was like every GPS was like, it's going to be a blizzard. Be careful on your trip. It's just like this fear, fear, fear. And like, even though I'm not tuning into it, it is affecting me
yeah.
in this way that is like subliminal. I'm like, oh God, I hope I'll be okay on my trip. And,
Yeah, yeah.
so this is the way they seed the field
Mhm.
with the energy, and all they have to do in this reality is put a vibe out. It
Yeah.
doesn't even have to be true. They
No.
can just put a vibe out, and then everyone's like, "Oh, no,
Right.
this vibe," and everybody else will take that and
Yeah,
also project it, and then it helps it to happen.
yeah. No,
So
exactly.
this is
Yeah.
yeah, so this is part of the magic of this reality.
That's what it
If
is,
we
it's the black
can
magic, but they also know how to manipulate our consciousness so because that's the I thought you sent me that guy that I was listening to, but humans, we're so, like, kinda naive, but we also we're, like, group oriented, and so we don't wanna go against, the group, so they did these studies where they had one person that didn't know that everybody else was part of the study, and so they would ask them questions, like, and what the answer was, A, B, or C. And so the whole group would say, oh, it's A, but the real answer was B. And so the guy that didn't know, he was like, he knew A wasn't the answer and it was B. But then he said B, but then felt so uncomfortable. And then for the rest of the study, they kept saying the wrong answer. By the end, he was saying the wrong answer as well, just to go along with um, the crowd. And so that's what you're talking about. They know how to manipulate us through subliminal messages in the movies and commercials. And they really have been controlling our reality through the black magic. Yeah, it's
right?
wild.
Yeah.
So we have to be so consciously aware of this and not allow.
Yes, when it's happening, like, I just kept saying, "Is it really gonna be a big storm?" And it was a storm,
Yeah,
definitely, and yeah, for people in the mountains, yes, it was gonna snow, but where
yeah,
I was, it was not gonna fucking snow, it's just
yeah.
like,
Well, then you're
and it
getting
got
into
cold
the
and all that.
weather. What is the I mean, it's all manipulated now, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, everything's yeah,
It's
so
it's the geoengineering. I mean, that's there's too much information out there now that now it's pretty much all they've even studied they, tested the snow and the rain. It's not even really that real anymore, unfortunately, on some stuff that I've gone some rabbit holes I've gone down. I'm like, because there's just so much poison with the geo.
well, and this is where we think about resonance. We don't wanna come into resonance with
That's right.
all that because we can't
Yeah,
control it.
that's right.
So,
Yeah,
really not going down those rabbit
good.
holes. I mean,
Yeah,
they
I'm glad
are
you said that.
real,
Yeah,
but we don't need to come into resonance with them.
that's
And
right.
if we're taking it in, we're actually coming into resonance with them.
That's
So
right.
even participating and thinking you're not because
Yeah,
you know better,
yeah,
still it fucks with you. So it's like we have to
that's
really
right.
get clear when we're being manipulated.
Yeah,
And so
because
once you get clear
yeah,
about that, then you can just work on creating your own reality
that's it. That's
because everything is the energy. So we have these fields of energy and we're all connected. So of course we want to be a part of the group. we want to be in community because that was always like the fear of being ousted from the group, and then you won't survive,
That's
you
right.
won't survive the winter,
Yeah.
so there's a way that the asshole dark, they just want us in camps. And this has
Mhm.
been documented throughout time, like since they started writing about history. It's like they just have always had groups to seed the field and like be
Yeah.
like, just be in one camp or another. That's
Yeah.
all we need. We don't need everyone in one camp or everyone in another camp. We just need to be them. And then they're opposing camps.
Right.
So that creates the duality. And, that was kind of what we just went through. They
Mm.
didn't care if we were in the good,
Yeah.
the thing that the good or the bad or whatever, or
Yeah.
the rebels and the people
All
doing
you
the
know,
thing that they
pitted
wanted us to
against each
do.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, it just creates and then they don't have to do anything. It's just we're
Yeah.
all fighting each other
Yeah.
naturally,
That's right.
So
And that's how
we
you
have to
control.
recognize when information is trying to put us into a camp,
Yeah.
it's trying to section us into one or the other, just like, and
Mhm.
then that gets into, this
Control
reality
masses.
really,
That's how you control through
yeah,
fear and
and
pitting
they've been doing this forever. This is not a new
one
trick.
or yeah, it's the
It's
same
like
old
an old trick just
yeah.
again and again,
Yeah.
and like more information has come out about the evidence of this. I mean, even,
Right.
those rap groups from the 80s, they were infiltrated,
Yeah.
they were CIA ops, we all know that like Jim Morrison came from a military family. They
Right.
actually had a studio in LA that was run by the CIA.
Yep.
I mean, there's all
Yeah.
kinds of
Totally.
reveals around this, and
Yeah.
getting really clear that, oh, if they want me to make a decision and be in a camp, that's
Mm.
something to just completely step away from
That's
because
right.
it's there to distract us.
Yeah.
So yeah, so with
To keep us
with
in the
the
loop,
energy field, yeah, to keep us in a
in the
loop
negative
of,
in the negative conscious loop that's we've been just
yeah,
and so this is fascinating because maybe you'll know so the astrology, where's the because we're now at a point with enough consciousness, this is what my guides have told me, years ago, that there's enough consciousness now in the loop, to break free from it, So that's why so many of us are now aware of what's going on and talking about it and, to break free from the negative looping. So, but there must be the astrology, right, is lined up. It's like what, 26 every 26,000 years or something we cycle and we figure it out that we're like, "Oh my god, we've been bamboozled." We're now we can break free from this dark the asshole dark and then really do create, our joyful abundant life. So we're all figuring that out. But where's the astrology on that, right? Is it usually
yeah. I mean,
are you familiar with that?
I think, well, I think that it's, we live in a dualistic realm. So people are always waking up, but there are people who are just completely unconscious too.
Yeah.
So I don't know about 26,000 years. I
Okay.
don't know about these timelines that
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
created.
It's just
I'm
stuff I've
very like
heard. Like,
skeptical about
"Oh,
it.
that's" yeah, yeah, okay.
But I mean, yeah, there are like people waking up all the time, and we are in this information age where we have access to so much information.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, that is possible
Mhm.
that it's happening, but also all the shitty bad stuff is happening too. So it's like it's not it's like a worry about yourself kind of place. We got to like
Yeah.
really just get
Well, that's
into
where we're
what you want,
creating the timeline,
what
right?
you're
Like you said.
creating.
Yeah, what
Yeah. And
exactly.
you can't expect that everyone is going to wake up and we're going to have this utopia,
No.
because
Yeah.
there's always the dark. There's always the shadow. But it's like, how are we contributing to it, or how are we
React to
contributing
it.
to the light? Like I'm focused on raising the vibration
Mhm.
in on the land and in the home and in the body.
Mhm.
That's my contribution, but I know that I can't save the everybody. I can't save anybody, really.
Yeah.
So I just know I can put out my information and people
Mm.
can become aware of it, and
Mhm.
that could
Yeah,
change some things, but it's just all about your resonance, what you're aligned with,
that's right.
and how you're moving in the world. And part of what I wanted to talk about, because there's actually some really cool things I've learned from going down these rabbit holes of chronology. Also, there's a guy who looks at all these old newspaper articles
Mm.
about this place, old maps, flat earthers, all these different rabbit holes I've gone down, and astrology also.
Yeah. Uh-oh. It's paused for a second. We're gonna do a non-commercial intermission right now till till we get Caitlin back. You've frozen up. Okay, wait, there you are. Okay. Okay, we are now back from our
Yeah,
commercial break. Okay.
yeah, we're having internet problems. We're country to country service right now, so you froze earlier, but
I
I
do
don't
okay, oh,
know
shoot.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're
I
good
mean, when
now.
it happens, you freeze and I'm still talking, so it's
Okay.
just we'll see
Okay.
what
Okay.
happens.
We'll see
We
what
could have
happens.
some glitches. Yeah, I think the wires are wet. I don't know what's happening. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Yes.
We've had a lot of rain, so yeah.
The asshole dark's like,
Okay, so what I
"Stop
was
talking about me.
stop talking
Stop
about the asshole
talking about
dark.
me." Okay, so where were you though? So
Well, I was just talking about, okay, so this reality,
Mm.
I was talking about the energy field
Yes.
and how things are seeded in the field, and how we have to work with our own seeding of our energy fields,
Yes.
and how we have to really become like almost so aware of our thoughts
Mhm.
and our emotions around things and our patterns. I mean, basically like stalking yourself and really perceiving like what you tell yourself, what the voice in your head says. Um and then working with some principles of this reality, which is if you want to change what you're doing, and midlife is really about getting into your true divine purpose. If you're not there, to
Mhm.
really understand what you're meant to do, and
Right.
because you're meant to be here,
Right.
and for me it's like I literally just started trusting 100% in
Mm.
this. I wasn't trusting. I
Yeah.
thought I was trusting, but
Yeah.
I wasn't suicidal, but wasn't fully trusting in this
Yeah.
reality. So
Yeah.
understanding physics, vibrational physics, has helped me to really get into the understanding the energy better, and
Mm.
like what is vibration, and
Mhm.
how this reality responds to our vision and
Mhm.
our actions.
Yeah.
And actually, someone was pointing out the other day that it's not even about being positive. It's about, because I mean, all these asshole dark companies, they've succeeded a
Yeah.
lot because they're just really determined
Yeah.
and have the will and the intent.
Right.
So it's not even like
Yeah.
being positive, and like, because I've heard that too. I mean, that is also part of the
Makes
reflection, right?
totally sense. Yeah.
Having Yeah,
The
so
intent
if they were having
what it's li aligning, like you said, it's resonating with a frequency that you know to be true. And so it's like that confidence of knowing what you want and aligning with it and knowing it to be true. That's actually the secret, right? Um, that they didn't tell us.
right, and then
They didn't tell us in The Secret. Like, it was like, "Oh, think positive, create what you want in your reality," but you actually have to believe it and align and resonate with that frequency that you want in your life.
yeah, and then really be clear with your intent. I will have that. I will
Yeah,
be
yeah,
this.
yeah.
I am this. Actually, it's not even I will. It's I am
Yeah, I
more,
am.
very
Yeah,
affirmative
yep.
statements. And then you were mentioning vibration.
Mhm.
The one thing I've really observed about all this information I've taken in is that it is about your vibration, how you experience this reality.
Yeah.
So that is like part of why I really want to work with people to raise the vibrations in their energy fields, because it actually determines how
Yeah.
you will experience this realm,
Yeah.
you know, in
Yeah.
terms, and that is, yeah,
It
that is everything right
it is
there.
everything. And that's to be a clear
So,
at that 0 point observer way of being, and that means clear of our traumas and everything, and really in tune, um, and that's from personal experience, just clearing out all of that, and then maintaining it, that's the hard part. Maintaining
yes, because
the
that's
higher
the thing. It's not about when
right.
you're on and feeling great. Oh, I can manifest. It's about when you're feeling off. What
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you do to and just shut it all down?
exactly.
So you have to be aware, the awareness of your thoughts.
Mhm.
And healing trauma is about really why you want to do it is because past, present, future is all with us in the
Right.
toroidal field, right? So we all have these toroidal fields. And
Mhm.
if it's not cleared, it's like still lurking out here, you know. The
Yeah,
past is kind of out on the edges, and
right.
it raises your vibration to clear it,
Mhm.
to work with it,
Yeah,
and it's not happening anymore, but yet it's still with us. So it's
yeah,
like, why carry this along with you?
that's right.
It's actually
That's where the healing happens.
hindering the flow of the energy,
Yeah.
right? So this is how it raises your vibration. You clear all these little dents and
Mhm.
obstructions in the field
Yeah.
from the past, and you will change your future. I mean, you could actually clear it
Mm.
and then recreate your past. You
That's
know, I've recreated my birth story because I didn't like my birth story,
yeah,
you know, and it changes the future because
yeah,
this is a realm that you can play with.
yeah,
This is like the energy field you can totally, and
yeah,
you can see, right, Mandela effects, you can see the cracks
totally.
in the
Yeah,
in the reality if you
yeah,
start looking. I mean, I found these cool, I see stuff all the time now
yeah,
of the little cracks in reality,
yeah,
and
isn't
it's
it
just
fun?
like, yes. Yeah, it's so fun,
Yeah,
and it's yeah, and then getting into working with your team, the
yeah,
spirits around you, and it's like we don't really get clear with that. We're surrounded by spiritual beings,
yeah,
and a lot of time we've allowed the injured ones to be dominating our energies when we go into those trance states and we get triggered or whatever. We allow the wounded ones to come in and take
mm,
over, and that is really
yeah,
just a perpetuating an old cycle again. So getting clear with the team, it's like I feel like my team right now is so strong, and I'm
yeah,
so clear with who's with me. And I've gotten the ones that are damaged. So I have a long line of damaged.
yeah,
We all do, really. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's just like,
yeah,
but I was getting real clear with like how they have taken over my energy fields. And I used to call it like real housewiving because like when real housewives get triggered, they would go off. They'd just be like, and then they would not remember. They'd black out and they'd just be like, and I would watch these shows and be like, oh my
that's
God.
hilarious. Oh
And they
my
would completely, and that's what's happening where our energy field gets taken over. We're triggered by something. We're
yeah,
taken over. We're literally like possessed by these. And then we just like don't even know, like, oh my God, what did I do? It's like,
yeah,
and it's different for everybody because that it also gets into the astrology and your energies.
mhm, yeah,
But there are ways that we're just like, yeah, totally possessed by the beings around us. So it's like getting really clear with that and like,
yeah.
who are they?
That's part of the
And
midlife
then,
process, right? So it's like,
yes, I mean, if we don't get clear, it's like we don't want to continue on in
yeah,
these ways that we're suffering, and creating our own suffering,
right. And it's
you
like
know?
be conscious of that, and yeah, and healing, like, since we do have the wounded, yeah, it's getting that strong team of ancestors and guides and higher self, and then really healing the wounded lineage. I think that's important as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely important. I have a great channel I work with, who's an ancestor oracle. She's helped me so much, and it's good, for all of us to have support
Yeah.
and people that we can, but you have to get really clear with who you're working with.
Yeah.
Are they empowering you?
Mhm.
They're not empowering you and they're just doing the work for you. That's not going to help you either. So you have to, it's like getting really clear with who you're working with.
Mhm.
And some people are, they get the divine light and they have this mystical experience and then they think that they're healers. And it's like, really, they're totally ungrounded. They're not grounded in the earth energies
Mhm.
at all. They're just being taken over, and they would call this the Luciferic
Oh,
beings. They're
yeah.
so bright and light. They
Mm,
come down and, you know, give you
yeah.
this message and like, oh, I'm working with this being now. And this being is actually
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
actually an okay being to be working with. It
Right.
just seems like it's like the bright light is so blinding.
Yeah.
And when you're getting a blinding light, it's like, so there's a lot of that,
Mm.
kind of ungrounded energies
'Cause like you
from
said, the
the
asshole dark knows how to manipulate us, and show up, uh, in all of these different ways to try to trick us. And so that's where
yeah,
we have to really, yeah, be so in tune with ourselves and our discernment and,
yeah.
and our intuition. Yeah. It's super important. Yeah,
And then
maybe.
it gets into action, it's like you have to, what do you want to create? And then take action. And it's literally like, some have described it like this, everyone's like this AI is coming and da da da, but we really have like an AI energy already.
Yeah.
It's very reflective, this reality. So it's like I'm thinking about this and it's reflecting it right back at
Mm,
me. And so it becomes like, okay, well, I want this, and then moving in that direction,
mm.
creating an action, having vision around it, creating action, and then breaking our patterns.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is one of the keys, is like, go to a different gas station. Just do something different. We're such creatures of habit, but
Yeah,
really we create new realities when we break our patterns. That's why traveling is so good, you know,
yeah.
I just went on like a road trip for 7 days. It was so fun. It was just
Uh,
like going different places and yeah. And
yeah,
then I was breaking my pattern, so I was really focusing on the visions I want, because during that time, it's actually creating a lot of openings
yeah,
for new realities.
yeah.
So,
And that's the key. We
yeah,
do have the power to create our own reality. Like it is, it sounds easy, but it is challenging because like you said, it's breaking the old patterns that are ingrained in us, that are in our cellular memory and our DNA, because of our wounded lineage and because of the programming that we were born into this false kind of matrix loop, lower vibrational loop. So we're like there's so many things that we have that we're breaking free from to step into knowing this power that we have into that's what this midlife is into the being the priestess and goddess, it's like really recognizing those old like the old patterns that just don't, that are really toxic um and not good for us. So yeah, it is like you said, yeah, so changing it up. Yeah, where I'm and it's so hard because I don't know what my sign is, but I'm very like I'm a nester. I don't like to really travel very far, but I have to. I have to break
I
free.
know.
Like when I came to visit you, I'm like, "Oh my God, you're it's like 5 hour drive." Yeah, but it's like that's nothing. Once I
You came so far
and
from the
you're
hermitage.
far away, but we're gonna do another trip. I'm gonna take my
Well,
kid
girl, you have all that Virgo. That's why,
the
that's
Virgo,
the
okay.
hermitage.
The hermit, yeah, I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
no, the hermits.
stepping outside of the
Yeah,
parameters, but that's what it
yeah, no.
is. What's the programming though, right? So it's I have to step I'm recognizing a loop program that isn't in my best interest, so, Um,
Yeah.
so it's really like microscoping, uh, patterns and breaking free from them so we can really be that creator in our life. And
Yeah. Because we have all the power.
we
So,
do. And I'm fine. Yeah,
and
it's
I
really,
was gonna mention, it's also about being the hag. The hag is just gives no fucks, and she's just, like, gonna say whatever she needs to say.
yeah,
So, and they've kind of made it, the asshole dark has kind of made it so if you say something, you're like a Karen,
yeah,
you know? Which is funny because Karen is, like, caring,
yeah,
but, so there's all this, like, kind of wordplay and weird, but it's not caring. Caring is, like, the worst thing you could be, to be filmed saying something that, when I'm not saying they're all like Karens have a real purpose at all on the videos, but
yeah,
I'm saying that it's really about speaking to the truth,
mm,
of what's happening
yeah,
and not making it like, oh, love and light, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
being real.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the hag,
Being real
you
and
know.
understanding what, yeah, that's yes, exactly. The truth, speaking, yeah, really, really seeing what's going on
Mhm.
and speaking that. Yeah, yeah, and I guess that is the hag. This seeing our truth in midlife, the midlife,
The
menopause,
midlife
yeah,
truther.
apocalyptic energy. We're like, yeah. I love it. It's actually,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to really see the like, just stuff that I've worked on personal stuff, and seeing my reality shift for the better. The more, because that's what we're talking about the other day too, is just like letting go of anything that doesn't feel good, period. Like, and doors do open when you let stuff go.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
just
I'm
like,
in a whole transition with jewelry, being a jeweler and just cranking out pieces and putting them in stores and things like that. I'm just in a whole shift around that. And
mhm,
I just like got this big order the other day and I was like happy and like exhausted all at the same time.
yeah,
And then luckily they saw my prices and were like, "Oh no, we can't do that much." And I was like, "Okay, good." And it's more reasonable, but it's like being in that like, okay, I just want to, move on, but at the same time it does help me financially. So there's a whole thing about the letting go and the, taking
there
steps
is.
into the unknown.
That's
Yeah.
that's it. Taking that leap of
So,
faith and just saying no to something that doesn't feel good. Yeah. But then again, that's using your own discernment and because I've done both. I've done uh just going, nope, this doesn't feel good. I'm saying no to that, and then doors open. Or, oh, this I kind of need to do for a few more months. And then
yeah.
gradually ease out of something that isn't feeling good. So that's again
Yeah.
discernment, intuition, and knowing yourself, knowing,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how things feel in your body. When I get so tired from like big orders
Yeah.
before I even do them. It's like, "Oh my god." Yeah, because it's a lot of work, and I've made thousands of pieces. Like, I don't even know how many
Wow.
pieces I've made, but it's been over 20 years, and it's just
Yeah.
like I recognize what lights me up and what is
Mm.
actually draining my
Yeah.
energy. So,
Yeah, and that's it.
really seeing how you're physically even responding to something,
Mhm.
being the
That's
observer that way.
yeah. Yeah, I had a friend say,
Mhm.
it's like if you can't make a decision on something, and so you make a plan and you move forward with that, with whatever decision, and then you see how you feel. How does it, how is it sinking into your body for the next few days or week, and if you're feeling tired or stressed, all of that, then you're like, okay, then it's time to change the decision, to something else, because your body will, I just did a video on this, our body does let us know when things are out of balance. So
Yeah,
those,
I mean, our body is the tool. Our
yeah,
body is a tool. It has energy centers,
Mhm.
right? It has the toroidal field,
Yeah.
um, and it is a vibrational tool. So
Yeah.
it's like we can it's like a
Yeah.
dowsing tool. We can actually like use it that way.
Well, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah,
If you
totally.
think
And
of it.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and so when it gets ailments, it's letting us know something's really out of balance. Yeah, when we get tired,
Yeah.
or if we get us, lower back, or, anything that's like doesn't feel quite right, there's a message in that for us
Yeah.
to figure
I mean,
out.
I was having a lot of feet things because in menopause, you start to get like these weird physical things, right?
Yeah.
Feet cramping and different, and I was like changing my shoes and doing all that. And I actually did all the vibrational work and cleared the nerves of my feet.
Oh,
And it
nice.
actually was a part of me committing to being here on
Okay.
this
Love that.
earth plane. So it was part of
Yeah.
the trust. And the work I do on the nerves is like the physical Akashic record is in this, the nervous system. So it's
Mhm.
like really there are ways to work with clearing
Mhm.
that residue of old
Yeah.
stuff
'Cause then we're
in the
getting into
nerves.
those.
'Cause nerves are
Yeah.
everywhere,
Well, because
and
then
there's a
that
lot of them.
you have the lineage too that comes into your, that can affect
Oh
your body
yeah,
and the nerves,
totally.
and the past life experiences that yeah, so it's all
There's so much going on.
there's so
Really, there's
much.
so much.
Yeah. And then we
Which is overwhelming, but it's also the magic. There's so much magic in that. There's so much magic that can be had in these, like,
yeah,
getting into ritual spaces too and creating sacred space, there's a lot of magic that can be created.
yeah, there is the good magic.
When you came here, remember when you came here with the hawk and the snake? I'd
Unbelievable.
never seen hawks here.
Yeah,
It was
ever.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it was just, like, right out the window. I wasn't even there.
I know. I'm like, I had my phone. I got it on video. I was like, "What?" A hawk just flew onto the branch right outside the window that I'm, like, can see out, and with a snake, and, like, yeah, it was but that's creating those are the messages, right, from our,
Yeah. Well,
ancestors
that's how this
itself. It's like or it's just
yeah.
the reality, something in my energy field attracted that to because that's what the uplifting is, that kind of magic. It's like, "Oh," for me, I'm like, "Oh,
Well,
there's
we
purpose now."
live in a yeah, and we live in a synchronistic reality. So everything is has a reason and a
That's
place.
how
It's not chaos where it's just like, I mean, it feels like chaos, but it's actually there's very purposeful things. And when you connect, we did a
that's
fire ceremony, we were connecting, went to the river, we did a whole thing.
yeah,
We start to connect with the elements,
yeah,
connect with the earth energies, and
yeah,
then it becomes like a tool to help you.
yeah. No, it's absolutely it's that's the synchronicities, and once you when you start really recognizing that magic, it brings joy and excitement for even being here because we did choose to be here. So, how do we
Yeah,
want
that's the thing.
to
We did choose
feel
it.
being here? I chose to come here, I know that. And so, do I wanna feel depressed and down and victim mode, No. I wanna feel excitement being here. I wanna utilize everything, in this reality. So that's like tapping into that, beautiful magic is just like, ah, it's exciting. Except for when you have the
Yeah.
flu, you're down, and that was me. I wasn't so excited about a week ago. No, actually, I was because I felt the
Well,
whole rebirth, this crazy
yeah.
deep transformation happening, like letting go of some old stuff. So, and I needed the sleep. And so I always see these things as a positive. And so, but because I did a lot of inner journeying and inner work and yeah. And it was this rebirth. I feel like I do feel like the
Well,
phoenix.
and if you never got sick, you wouldn't understand how great it is to be healthy.
That's
It's
right.
just like knowing the
Yeah.
polarity of things. If
Mhm.
we don't know the polarity, we're not taking full advantage of good health.
That's
We don't know sickness. We're not
right.
we're not taking advantage of good health because
That's
we'll just take advantage of it. It's just a
that
natural way.
exactly. So it
Not
reminds
that we should be getting sick. We shouldn't be getting sick, but
no,
if we
you should
do,
yeah.
it's like
Well, because it
another
reminds
way.
me not to eat crap, because or processed
Drink too
foods,
much coffee.
drinking too yeah, that I cut back on that, exactly, because I
Yeah,
tend to be
because
excessive.
it's not bad.
Right,
Coffee is not bad, but
right,
2, 3 cups of coffee is bad. It will
bad.
drain you,
It will dra exactly.
but
My
I drink a
adrenals
cup every morning and I love it. And it's like, that's it.
that's it. That's what I've been doing,
Yeah,
and I add my Danda blend to it, so it's not even like a full strong cup of coffee. I know you're like, "Oh,
hate that stuff.
I love my Danda blend."
Sorry.
Yeah, and then I make my teas, and then I get addicted to drinking, I do my excessive, but they're healing teas, the horsetail,
Yeah,
like you made your went and harvested horsetail
yeah, horsetail.
tea.
Yeah, fresh horsetail tea.
Oh, it's amazing.
This one has hibiscus in it too.
Hibiscus?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
I
it.
put Egyptian hibiscus and little rose hips
Oh,
and
man.
nettles.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
yum. That's, like, so
yummy.
nourishing, all of those. Yeah, I love that. So and that's part of the excitement of being here too. It's finding things that you love, because that
Yeah,
creates more
foraging.
magic in your life, like, yeah. Like, I can't wait, it's like finding those things that really uplift you. Like the course that I mean, now I'm taking 2 courses, a in-depth, herbology course, because I really wanna be more knowledgeable on how to help people with herbs and how to mix them, because you can't just give everybody 1 herb, that might which I'm finding out in this in-depth herbal course. I've always just done intuition too, like, I think you need some of this." But it's fun. And then I'm taking the oil making, class with Cami McBride. You knew that. So
Yeah, making herbal body oils.
I'm
Amazing.
so
She's
excited
amazing
to
for that.
do that. Yeah, salves
I'm
and
excited you're doing that too because and we have all these great access to good oils here, olive oil, because there's all these farms here in
yes, the
California
California olive
that
oil
grow.
is the best.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah,
So
definitely.
that's
Yeah, so it's
yeah.
finding so our point is find what really uplifts you and like it brings excitement and magic to your life. Like what is that? And if you don't know, it's then time to do the inner work, the clearing, the meditations.
Well, and get support. There are people like us out there who
Oh,
are on this journey and
yeah,
also have a lot of awareness and tools
that's right.
and it's good to get support from others. I have people that I work with.
Yeah,
I'm not all knowing of everything. And I need it. I need that
same.
extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's same. Yeah,
So
I have
it's
my
just
team,
finding.
I have you, I have a couple of friends, that we really uplift each other. Yeah. And
Mhm.
readers too, so I have someone that can really tap into my energy field and really give me good advice. So, yes, and that's what we do. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, give us if you're
Shout
needing
out
guidance
myself.
on your path and some clearing.
Yes.
Yeah, the magic.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's see, what else did we let's see, we pretty much talked about what we wanted to talk about. Um,
Yes.
and yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it feels
The
good.
yeah, the just navigating this realm and how to do it really well. And
Yeah.
as we hit
And
midlife,
just not falling
and
for the asshole dark, the tricks of the
that's
asshole dark.
exactly. all for
Because
it.
everything they do, if you notice there's a theme, everything they do is to make us feel small and powerless.
Yeah.
So, even
It's
our history.
well, fear is really prevalent, like, there's so much fear
Yeah, it is.
on,
Yeah.
so and that's what my guides have always so like like we were talking about earlier, so because it's not we don't wanna come into resonance with that reality. That literally is a 3D matrix timeline that we don't want to be in resonance with, and that's how through raising our frequency, through our thoughts and our actions, really we do the creating that new timeline really is not even giving that false timeline any energy at all. Um, that's how we create that's how we create our reality. And because you perpetuate, if we at all give any energy towards what's happening in that false matrix, what the asshole dark is doing, it's just going to keep continuing. That's why we have to
Yeah.
break free from it and like literally like dissolve it. And by doing that is to focus on the joy and your passions and the magic in this because there's magic everywhere. Like it's so beautiful. It's focusing on the beauty in this in
Yeah.
the planet Earth, and there's different, vibrational frequencies, which are the timelines, and so the more that we focus on that beauty, the more beautiful our life, uh, manifests into. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yay. Oh, Caitlin, always
Yay.
oh, I love our deep conversations. Yeah,
Oh, yes. I know.
and
2 Virgo risings. Intensified, both of us, in different ways, but we're both,
yeah,
you know,
a Virgo rising, I
like,
love it.
"Oh,
In the hit. It's totally,
air,
air.
earth."
Well, I'm all air. It's a little
I know. Got the Gemini midheaven and the
yeah,
Aquarius. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
lot of air. And then the first house is your Libra, so it's just like, "Oh my god."
yeah, I'm all air. Yeah, it's can be a little bit that's why I'm in yeah, I can be ungrounded a lot.
That's why you work with grounding with earth energies
Yeah,
because
that's why my
and
office
water.
is outside. I'm, like, grounded outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it's all about the balance, balancing
it
the
is
energies. If
all
you got a
about
lot of
balancing.
something, you gotta counter it with other
Mhm.
energies. And I'm gonna be doing a course, actually, a 5 element course. So where I teach all about the elements and how to work with them, how to create
Awesome.
sacred space, and just developing a practice and a relationship with the elements. There are many, many. I mean, I feel like all cultures, if you trace them back,
Mm,
all work with elemental energies. It's
yeah.
just a basic, and these universal things are the things that really
Mm,
speak to me because they're tried and true, and they've been in all cultures.
yeah,
So, and why are they in all cultures? Because they're freaking important.
yeah,
You know, I've done a lot of ceremonies and I really didn't understand. I mean, I knew that how you did things, what you called the directions and the energies, and you created this but why?
yeah.
Why? Because these elements are us. So it's like the relationship of the outer and the inner, and this
Oh,
gets
yeah.
into Hermetic wisdom.
Mhm.
It's like they figured it out a long time ago, these philosophers.
Yeah,
The outer and the inner, the
yeah,
inner and the outer.
yeah.
It's all one.
It is.
So
Yeah,
you really learning how to relate to that, and the outer is helps you to relate in the inner, so it's a whole thing.
it is a whole thing, and it
Yes,
is important
it's a
because
whole
it
thing.
showed me that, yeah, through the ceremony, which I'm gonna be setting up right out here because I have these beautiful rocks. I'm gonna create a little fire, um, circle
Yeah,
overall, and it was just
I mean,
feel
because it's
so
good to go to groups,
yeah,
but also you can create your own. You don't have to. If it comes down to you not doing anything because you can't make it to a
yeah,
circle, or maybe the men's circle's got fucked up people running it, there's a
yeah,
lot of traumas and traumas we don't like to deal with in these spaces, or maybe they're not
Totally.
holding sacred space. You create
That's
your own,
yeah,
and it's better than doing nothing,
it is.
during these cycles, especially for Virgos. That's why I was like, you need to do this because this is what
Yeah.
grounds the Virgo,
What is yours? I love
grounds the
oh,
energy, keeps us in the higher octaves of Virgo, not the bitchy critical, like,
totally.
other aspects of Virgo.
Yeah.
So
Call
yeah,
yourself
it's the
the
whole thing.
pushy ceremony ceremonial what did you call yourself?
The pushy controlling of the space,
Yeah, I loved it.
just
But
yeah,
no, you called
there's a lot.
yourself something, you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you one more just one more time."
Oh, the
Get
nagging priestess is what
yeah,
I
the
was
nagging
calling
priestess.
myself.
Like, "It's your nagging
Like,
priestess
May.
again. Are you doing your ceremonies yet?" Because you know my sign, so I'm like, because that will ground if you're a Virgo out there, Virgo rising, it will, you know, it's the
You gotta get a right relationship with the Virgo.
that's right.
Otherwise, it's just
It can feel
it's
chaos. It can't even though things aren't like you were saying. So it can
yeah.
feel yeah, so it's definitely, um,
Hey, who's that?
uh,
Oh, it's your aunt?
yeah, so I'm recording, can I yeah, sorry.
Can I let Sonny out?
Let me
Hi, Auntie.
so now aunt, everybody, okay.
That's
And
awesome.
she's a Virgo. So
Oh,
she's a
she
triple
heard her name.
she must be she's like, "Did I hear Virgo?" She's a triple
Virgo?
air sign, and she's been helping me so much in the house, like, she's, like,
Oh, good.
washing everything, she's washed all my windows and because my
Oh,
Aquarius
yeah, we're clean, we're tidy.
like crazy well, I don't know, my Virgo rising didn't kick in for being tidy because I can be
Well, no,
very
the
messy.
Aquarius is too strong,
My Aquarius is
probably.
really strong, I mean, I can live
And
in
The Gemini's, like, always collecting things and, like,
yeah, and I like
cleaning.
things all over, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why"
Yeah,
like,
I know.
even my kids are like, "Why can't you put things away?" Like, you my kids are like, "See how you took it out of the cabinet? So, like, it can go back in the cabinet so we can have a clear" I'm like, "Whatever."
Because you're already on to the next thought. You're already like, "Boop, boop, boop."
That's I
Yeah,
am,
it's
I'm
like,
just like,
zoom,
yeah,
zoom, zoom,
really,
zoom, zoom.
but
Yeah,
anyway,
I
so
know.
she's, been amazing. She's been staying with me, and yeah,
Awesome.
I guess I should have introduced her on the but I was like, "Ah!" She
Sorry.
oh my gosh, so I love it, I love it.
Yeah. Well, you guys need to do a little fire ceremony for
But
the
work with the
next.
elements, so that's where you got on a little tangent, so you're gonna do I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
excited that you're gonna do a course, so I'll take your course, and so that's gonna be on your website, so whoever's watching this, you're gonna wanna learn the elements as well, because I learned a little bit with you when you showed me the fight, like, when you called in, north, south, east, west, yeah, air, fire, right, earth, right? Am I saying
Water.
like, I'm missing of course I didn't remember water. Like, do
I
I have to
know.
get in the
It's
water?
so weird.
I like to be around the water. I'm a water bearer. I don't like to get in the
You are water,
I'm a
so get
mermaid.
into reverence with water.
I am water. Oh my god, that's right. I was like, "What's the other one?" Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, water.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
funny.
yeah, water.
Well, I told you,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had that trauma from that past life when I was a mermaid.
Oh, well, you gotta clear that.
I
I
know.
know, I have a parallel reality as being a mermaid, so,
That's
I
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
I get it. At the same time,
I mean, it was scary because it's
I
actually feels
know.
like a very real memory. Yeah, with
I
when
know, and that's why you have to learn to counter
yeah, yes.
the
Okay.
fear around it
Yeah,
by going to water,
by going to water.
being near water.
Yeah,
Yeah, and developing reverence for water. I mean, it really is just getting a right relationship with these elements.
that's I
If you have
love
a
that.
fear of water,
You're
then
gonna
start working with the water.
all of that.
That's what I'm teaching.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be in the description below. I'll put your website and you'll have your courses on there. And yeah, you're
Yes.
just
It's not
amazing.
quite up yet. I'm working on creating the details of and trying not to stop myself from doing it by getting too into the details, which is another thing of Virgo. We
Yeah,
get
totally.
too into the details and
Yeah,
then we're like, oh, I need a nap. I can't do this.
yeah, that's
So, but
totally.
I'm just like, yeah, I've had this whole channeling with my ancestors and they're like, boom, boom, boom. You're doing these things. So some of the offerings are up, other offerings are coming. So, but you can still inquire, like if you're like super excited about that, and as soon as it's up, I'll message you.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
it's
Awesome.
just a sneak peek. Sneak
Okay,
peek.
so
Yeah.
excited because I'd like to learn
Hmm.
about that. All right. Well, thank you. If you guys have made it to the end here with us, thanks for joining us. And please leave comments. We really do love to hear what your experiences have been in this realm. What feats have you gone through, and getting to where you're at right now. What magic are you seeing in your reality? So let us know, and we'll see you on the next video. Until next time, sending so much love out there. Thanks, Caitlin, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye.